What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. I want to talk about us younger generations, us younger guys. Not really the women as much as the men. So I want to talk about the men, us younger guys, and how the older generations are viewing us younger guys, and why you guys seem to be so frustrated with us right now. Because there's something that you older generations are not understanding right now. It's that, you know, you're wondering why your son is 24 still living with you right now. You know, we're not trying to play it stupid and move out, right? When rent and everything is so, like 3 times more expensive than when it was when you were looking for a place at our age, right? Because the whole goal is to get where you're at right now. That's your son's goal. That's your daughter's goal, is to get to where you are at right now. With a nice house, you know, with a wife and kids. The very goal that you have accomplished in your life, you know, the house that you're wondering they're not leaving, that house, the house that you own, in their upcoming future, their goal is to have the same thing. How is it expected of them to reach that goal when everything is so ridiculously expensive right now? Inflation has never been this high ever. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive. It's so expensive that if you wanted to get an apartment on your own, right? How many in this day and age, in 2024, this year, how many apartments, if you were to go looking for an apartment right now, how many are you going to find with $600 a month for rent? What happened to that? What happened to rent being $600 a month? I mean, you need to have apartments out here where the rent is low so that the person can inevitably move up. There has to be a ladder to climb. There has to be steps to take. You guys don't realize that everything's been flipped on us. All right. If we were to move out right now and we had no credit, right? We don't have any, we're practically going to be we're going to be taking steps, but we're going to be going down in steps. You know what I'm trying to say? We're not going to be going up in steps. The goal is to go up in steps, you know, be able to have an apartment, be able to have your own food, have your own stuff, be self-sufficient. You know, it's not that we're lazy. It's not that it's that we're not stupid. That's what it is. It's not that we're lazy. It's that we're not stupid. For you, it's easy to say, hey, you know, go out getting because you're looking at it from the perspective you had when the way things were when you were 20. It's not like that no more. And there's so many factors that come into play as to why things are not the way they were when you were growing up. It's not just inflation. But you want to know something else? It's social media's influence on men and women. That has severely impacted everything. By the time you were 25, by the time you were 24, 25, you already had a woman, you already had a man, you probably already had your first kid, you probably knew how to do all that stuff, right? But you want to know what helped you achieve that goal more than anything? The absence of social media, because you didn't have all this toxic influence that the internet throws at this younger generation that causes them to be so divided amongst each other. You know what I mean? You have these young girls out here being influenced by people like Cardi B, influenced by people like Nicki Minaj, like these toxic women who are teaching these younger generation women how to just crap on men. Men are not gonna, we don't want to like, we're not gonna want to like, majority of the time, the house that we end up owning at the end of the day and the nice car and everything like that, that's all that's for the women and children that we have on our side. You see what I mean? The wife and kids, we do that more or less for them than we do it for ourselves, because you're trying to provide for your family. You see what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure most men out here on their own, they really wouldn't care if they were just living in a van, because I did that for a long time. You know what I mean? I did that for a while and I didn't care. You know what I mean? I didn't care. I don't care if I live in a van or whatever. You know, I'm not gonna allow. I'm not. I don't see the. I don't see it being worth owning a house if I'm in that house all by myself, right? I can't even get a woman because all these women have turned into demons. You know, they're not even women anymore. They're just whores walking around the place because they're so influenced by social media. They got body counts going higher than the planes you see in the sky. And these are things that we don't want to deal with. These are things that we don't want to deal with. You wouldn't deal with it either. Especially if you were as young as me and you're trying to have like a vision of your future and you want to have this and you want to have that. You can't even see the vision anymore because there's so many things happening in life that's practically tainting it. So you have no motivation now. You just don't care anymore. You're not seeing the bigger picture that's going on here, and the reason why you're not seeing it is because you're still focused on keeping the house you own, you know, paying the bills that you have to pay. You're not focused on you all you're concerned with is trying to get your kid out of the house, and you think he's got some kind of mental illness. He doesn't have no mental illness. This all stems from the complications of society getting along with each other. Nobody knows how to communicate anymore. I mean, if I were to go out in public and I were to cold approach a woman, they're gonna look at me like I'm crazy because I didn't add them on Facebook first. You know how fucking ridiculous that is? Like women out here have became fucking stupid. And it's like not even worth. And for all the men out there, I want the men out there to tell me, you're not gonna tell me that having a woman and having a wife and kids, like that wasn't something that gave you that drive to have a house and to achieve these goals, right? Because that's like the end result. You know, the whole white picket fence ideology thing. You know what I mean? Like that was the goal, and you got there. You know what I mean? And you still have your wife. Some of you are divorced, probably watching this right now. Some of you are divorced, but I bet you the ones of you who are divorced, don't even have a house. You live in an apartment. A lot of you who are divorced, who are on your own, you don't own a house. You're on your own in an apartment, right? And none of these younger guys want to start their life as if they've already messed up and now they're living paycheck to paycheck because they screwed their life up. It's like the way the world is set up right now, it gives off this image that the moment us younger guys step out into the real world, it's like we already screwed up just by being born too late. Just simply by being born too late, because we come out here, right? And things are 12 times harder than it was when you were coming up. And for you, owning an apartment wasn't that big. It was easier than what do you call it? It was easier than owning a house. Now having an apartment is just as difficult as owning a house because of how high rent is and shit like that. I mean, it's like you're gonna need a roommate just to own an apartment now, and that's the problem. You know what I mean? Like that's where the problem really is stemming from right now. It's like there should be no reason why I need a roommate just to have an apartment, just so that I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. You see what I'm saying? There should be no reason why us younger generations are living paycheck to paycheck right off the bat. Living paycheck to paycheck is for you older generation guys who spent your 20s drinking alcohol and crashing cars and acting stupid. That's what living paycheck to paycheck is for. It's for people like you. who spent your 20s and 30s acting stupid, and now you're a failure, and now you're 40, 50 years old, and now you're living paycheck to paycheck. That kind of lifestyle's for people like you. That lifestyle's not for somebody who's 20 years old and has a vision and has insight and it has self-awareness and is a smart guy or a smart person, and already off the bat they're living paycheck to paycheck. That's why nobody's moving out, because it would be stupid. I lived for the past 5 years. I stayed with my mom and my grandma until I was 22, and I wanted to leave at 19, but I wasn't going to. Not once have I have my own apartment, and yet I've been independent for a good, I'm to what, 22, 23, 24, 25, 3 years now. I've been independent, 3, without ever owning an apartment. And I still take my showers, and I still eat food, and I still have some extra money left over, and I still I can save money and be independent at the same time. You know how I did that? You live in a van. At this day and age, the only way you're going to get that house and the white picket fence and the wife and kids and all that mess, and even if the wife and kids at this point are even worth it, because the court systems are not on the man's side anymore. You know, the court systems don't support men. They only support the woman. If the man and the woman get divorced, the woman takes everything. Don't you see all the negatives that come with just having a woman alone? Not only is her body count off the roof, she's a used to be whore, but then she has all the power in the court system, and she could practically own your ass and make you pay like $6,700 a month off of child support alone. And then you're wondering why nobody wants to be together no more. You're wondering why nobody wants to get together and stuff like that. And then you're wondering why your kid is 24, 25 years old, still living at home with you. He doesn't have a fucking mental illness. Why don't you look around you? And then you'll wonder why he's struggling so bad. But that's the problem with a lot of you people, is you'll do whatever it takes to defend the system because you're too scared to stand up to the system. You find it easier to point at your kid and make it seem like he's got some mental illness than to look at the huge towering enemy in front of you, the big Goliath standing in front of you called the system. It's easier to point your finger at him than to point your finger damn near where the sun is, because that's practically where the head of this Goliath is standing. That's how tall he is. You could practically see his head all the way where the sun is, and you're too scared to face that. You'd rather just make it seem like your kid's the problem. None of you are willing to put this system we live by in check. There should be no reason why rent is this high. There should be no reason why food prices are this high. All of a sudden, the system just changes, and all of a sudden, things go up and things go down, and nobody questions why. Nobody questions why. Why is rent going up? Oh, rent's going up, and that's it. You're not going to ask why rent's going up. You're not going to wonder why food prices are getting higher. You're not going to ask when are they going to go back down and demand that they do, because nobody's going to live like a slave. And that's the thing. That's why your son is at home, 24, 25 years old, struggling with depression and all this stuff, because he's expected to carry all this weight. And the weight is far heavier than when you were 25, 24. When you were 25, 24, it was the 1970s, 1980s. I'm talking to you guys. 1970, 1980, you got the baddest fucking muscle car. You were able to drive around with your masculinity like it's pride. Now people are bashing you for being masculine. And that's another thing. That's another problem. You want your son to move out, right, and be independent, But then you're bashing the idea of masculinity. How are you gonna expect him to be independent if he can't be masculine? That shit makes no sense. Make it, you try to make that shit make sense, and then maybe I'll listen to what you have to say. But until then, I'm not gonna go by anything else but what I just said. That's why this is the reason why a lot of these younger guys out here are having a hard time.